Meanwhile, in Meanwhile, I was really hoping you'd go with the title I put in. Anyway, meanwhile, in the melting glaciers worldwide, they're melting, and they're glaciers for now, but perhaps for not much longer. According to a new study, glaciers are melting faster, losing 31% more ice per year than they did just 15 years ago. This is according to three-dimensional satellite measurements of all of the world's mountain glaciers. So this is a new technique, and it's all-encompassing. They're talking about measuring literally every glacier in the world to figure out not only what's being lost, but how it's accelerating over time. Scientists calculated the world's 220,000 mountain glaciers. Wow, there's more than I thought there were, having only stood on one. Are losing more than 328 billion tons of ice and snow per year since 2015, which is just an amazing amount. Half of all of that loss is coming from the US and Canada, with Alaska's melt rates being among the highest on the planet. There's one glacier, the Columbia Glacier, that's retreating about 115 feet every single year.
Wow.
But it's not just here. Almost all of the world's glaciers are melting, even ones in Tibet that used to be stable. Except for a few in Iceland and Scandinavia that are fed by increased precipitation, the melt rates are accelerating all around the world. So this is some scary stuff.
Yeah, it's been happening for a while, and I don't know if you know, it's part of the reason why I have a vegan diet. It's a big part in climate change. We have a lot of, we're working on emissions, we're working on all of these things, but it's not happening fast enough, John. And we're going to see the consequences of this in our lifetime. Mm-hmm. It's happening soon, and we're going to see the waters where people are going to have beachfront property that don't right now. That's going to happen, and that's going to be real. And this is a huge consequence of poor legislation and really pandering to big business and the oil industry. At the end of the day, and now we have exported industrialized farming all over the globe, and it takes so much water to raise cattle, and they have a lot of farts, John. And
I've heard that actually. Yes,
it is true. It is true, and it's unbelievable that could be the case. But it's because of the massive scale in which we're doing it that's really making a real big problem. And there's all kinds of issues that are affected by that kind of stuff, by industrialized farming. We've talked about the water, clean water, and all kinds of different things that happen. But we don't know the consequences of a lot of the stuff that we're doing too, like fracking and this. We just are in a really bad place, and no one's taking it seriously. Joe Biden talks about it. He's not taking it seriously. He's not going to see it in his lifetime. That's for sure. It's happening, but he's not.
More seriously than Trump, perhaps, but not to the actual scale of the problem.
He says it exists, but that's not enough. You can't just say climate change exists. You have to actually do something about it. And we were supposed to do something about it 20, 40 years ago. And they did start, especially here in California. We had really high regulations for emissions and things like that, but the rest of the country did not follow, and the rest of the world hasn't followed. And because of treaties like NAFTA, we're allowing other countries to do what we won't even do. And we'll be, benefiting from that. It's all the same planet, people. We have to really, work on this together, which was the point of the Paris Agreement. So we'll see what happens now.
Yeah. One thing I want to focus on though is that hopefully we recommit to it, but we give credit to environmental activists and people who communicate about this, not only for making sure that people know that this is a serious issue, but also really evaluating realistically how likely even the biggest things we are doing are to help. So, like people like Greta obviously want the US to rejoin the Paris Climate Accords, but they also acknowledge that those are not the be all end all of what we need to be doing. And as a reminder of that, in addition to this new information about how glacier melting is accelerating, you should also know that apparently 1/10 of the world's mountain glacier ice will have melted by the middle of this century, even if humanity meets the goals of the Paris Climate Accord.
Yeah.
The loss is equivalent to more than 13,200 cubic kilometers of water, enough to fill Lake Superior, or more than, and because this is the Guardian, 10 million Wembley stadiums. That's if we do everything we say we're going to do.
We passed the point of no return already. We already passed the point of no return. It's already like, it's a crisis. It's too late. We can try to put some band-aids on it to try to kind of hold it together. But those glaciers are going, it's too late. The emissions are are too high, the ozone is too jacked. I mean, we're past that. Now, we don't know yet if we can repair it. Scientists are talking about it. They're not quite sure how long it would take to fully, get the air back to where it needs to be, the climate. But we also don't know, how many countries are going to really do what they're saying. And even the Paris Accord, it's like, what is it, by like 2025 or 2028? It's like, we don't have this time. It needs to have happened yesterday.
Stuff is even longer. The time horizon.
It's irrelevant. Like, I'm glad. Like, we're not going to sell any more, gasoline powered cars in California like in 5 years. Well, everybody freaked out. Oh, Governor Newsom said we can't buy cars here that are gasoline based. Yeah, and like by 2028, that doesn't do any. It's not going to do anything. It's sort of like just a hope, and it's a political point to say that's it. And it's very sad, because if people have children, this is gonna greatly affect their children. I mean, we saw how these kinds of climate crises, when you start messing with the land, you start messing with the air. Look at the Great Depression. Look at how we didn't properly care for our land, and it caused famine. It caused a lot of trouble. We're gonna see that. There's going to be another great famine. There's going to be a lot of people washed away. We're seeing it already, and it's very sad.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that is a bit of a down note. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.